Hello again, welcome back to the channel. I'm glad to have you, and it is all about racing. And today we're going to take a look at another race car, only this one is from my Nascar collection. As I may have mentioned, back in 2001 I attended a race here in Richmond. It was the Monte Carlo 400, which you can see on this box. And part of I guess to promote that particular race, they selected 7 Chevrolet vehicles to bear the cartoon characters of Looney Tunes. And Mike Skinner in the number 31 car was one of those. He had Yosemity Sam, the crazy little guy that is always all fired up, shooting off his gun and never really accomplishing anything. But anyhow, in this particular set, you get this large, this is an absolutely huge box I'm showing you here that fits this car, as well as the jewel case and the base in it, the figurine, this different authenticity. You get all of that. Now, NASCAR, in its greed, of course, the following year after they released this, they released the same car just without the certificate of authenticity. In other words, it was an unlimited number of cars they made. You didn't get the figurine, you didn't get the display case or the base. You just got the car for about half the price, and it's so typical of unfortunately of NASCAR and manufacturers when they have unlimited releases and then and they have limited releases and then re-release the exact same car just in a different packaging, so to speak, to milk more money out of it, because apparently this promotion was very, very successful. In fact, in 2002, the following year, they had what they called, I guess, Looney Tunes the second or something like that, Revenge of Looney Tunes, whatever it was. The following year, they had another Looney Tunes collection, and then I think a couple years after that, they had a third, so they milked Looney Tunes as much as they could for several years. But anyhow, this was the original set, one of those 7 cars that I have, this being the Mike Skinner number 31 car. In this particular set, you got 1 out of 3,120 pieces, which included this really cool, and these are just really nice looking figurines. They're ceramic, and they're very, very sharp looking. They're fun, and they're just neat to be a part of this. Then you get something that's almost unheard of in 1/24 scale NASCAR cars, even in high quality cars such as this, which is a base and a jewel box. That just doesn't happen. Like never. So it was very unusual that it happened with this. And of course, this was Lionel that produced this particular set. I guess what they call their Revell collection. But anyhow, so there you have it. Let's take the top off of this and take a look at the car and see what you get. Now, it comes with this really cool base, as Revell collection, has Mike Skinner's signature on it, number 31 in the corner. And of course, this being Yosemity Sam, who usually, is out in the desert, causing mischief. You have, again, this desert landscape on it with number 31, so forth and so on. Lowe's, which was the sponsor of Mike Skinner before they became the sponsor of, guess what, Jimmy Johnson, of course, who was far more successful than Jimmy Skinner ever was. But anyhow, they had Mike Skinner before they got Jimmy Johnson. And if you roll this car around and you look at the front of it, it's absolutely gorgeous. And there's a very inquisitive looking Yosemity Sam. You see the Monte Carlo 400 logo on the front of the car. These being NASCAR cars, of course, the grill here, because these are front engine cars, are legitimate. They're real grills, even though this is not. And these are decals. They're crap. But that's exactly what they are. On the race cars, they're decals. Because NASCAR cars don't have real lights, they don't have tail lights. They are non-street legal cars, although they are loud as hell and they are a blast to listen to. They really are. I haven't gone to a NASCAR race in 7 years, but I do miss the noise. 43 cars thundering around is pretty phenomenal. Then take a look at the passenger side, and again, you've got Yosemity Sam. This time he's got his finger in the air for whatever reason. You see Mike Skinner. And one thing about these 1/24 scale cars, and I'll tell you, as I look at my collection all over again, which I have not done in years, the attention to detail on these old cars are phenomenal. The new cars that you buy if you go to the race, quite frankly, in my opinion, are crap. They're not like the old cars. They're not as detailed. I found this particular car, selling for $7 on eBay. $7 for this exact package that you see here. I found for $7. I think I paid $125 for it when I bought it. Quite a deal if you ask me. So if anybody's interested in this, $7. There you have it. Probably because Mike Skinner is the driver and nobody knows who the hell Mike Skinner is. NASCAR is all about the drivers. Unfortunately, it's not about the cars. It's not about the liveries. It's about the drivers. One reason that I absolutely hate NASCAR. I'm not a driver kind of guy. I like cars. I like race cars. And it's one of the things that always annoyed me about NASCAR was, the loyalty to the drivers, the rivalry between the fans, the fights in the stands, the drunks, you name it, you got it all. Anyhow, a cool look at Yosemity Sam on the back there, Lowe's.com, Cobalt Mechanics Tools, and another good look on the interior. Now, if you take this car off the stand and you take a look underneath it, I mean, my God, and this is what I like about the old cars. The new cars just don't have this attention to detail anymore. You don't see the transmission. The suspensions are functional on these things. They work. The steering arms work. You got sticker tires on this thing. You can see the transmission hub. Because you don't have antennas, you can flick them around. The nice thing about these 124 scale cars, too, is they are not fragile. And they're die-cast. I forgot to mention that. They're 124 scale, and they're die-cast. They're made of metal. So they're not fragile like the 143 scale cars that I collect, and even the 164 scale cars as well. They're not as fragile. In fact, you can do pretty much anything with these things, and it doesn't bother them. Trunks load up, and you can take a look. That's the fuel cell that they have in the back of cars. If you've never seen a NASCAR car before, they fuel them in the back because they're front-engine cars. They're very low-tech compared to today's race cars, but that's how they were intended to be. They're supposed to be stock cars, i.e., a car that you could buy, but that's really not the case. And let's take a look at the engine here. Now, sometimes you can just flick the engine bay open and it'll open. These particular cars, as much as I like them, in this particular series, the engine, just the hinges on these are terrible. They do not stay up. They do not open very far. But nevertheless, you've got exceptional engine detail in these cars. And this is something that you got at this particular scale. You just got phenomenal engine detail. The wheel detail, absolutely exceptional. Interior detail is just amazing, including these nets, which I wish sometimes you could take off. But you can see the stick shift, the steering wheel, the seat, the fire extinguisher, all the interior. They even have flaps on the top here that keep the car from rolling over. Those do open up. Just amazing detail, amazing car. Anyhow, that is it. And with that, we'll go ahead and close this review. I thank you for joining. Take care.